Okay, and we're back. Welcome, my fellow greats. Today is a very, very special episode. I brought someone very important and dear to me. This is Mr. Gerald O'Connor himself, my father. Can you say hello to the people for me?
Hello, greats. How are you all doing?
I like how you refer to them as greats. That's exactly what you guys are. If you guys are tuned in right now, you are watching the Place of Greats podcast. This is where great people come to learn, test their mind, because the mind is a muscle. So this is where you guys come to work out your muscle and consume the knowledge, the tips, the advice, people's journeys, etc., that will take you to the place of being a great. Today's episode, which is our first actual episode, if you guys tuned into our Monday motivation episode, thank you for tuning in. Please pass it around and share with your friends or your fellow greats. But today's episode is why people fail. All right, so I'm happy to speak to my father about this. I got some insight from some of my fellow mentors, some of my fellow greats of my own, and I had to have my father on for this talk because he's witnessed a multitude of different people fail in his life as well, and he's able to actually explain and elaborate on some of the reasons why he's seen people fail. So, first off, how are you feeling, Dad?
I'm good. I'm feeling good.
I'm glad. So, one of the reasons why I've noticed people fail is because they never really even try. They never really even try in the first place.
That is true. That is one of the biggest reasons why people fail. And they never had somebody to tell them that they could try doing something. Because a lot of times when people are growing up, a lot of times they're always telling them what you can't do.
Right.
That you can never be the next Michael Jordan. You can never do this. You can't do that. Using words like "you stupid" or "you crazy." You're not going to be anything just like your dad or just like your mom, and all those things. People soak it in, intentionally or unconsciously. They do, and that creates subconscious hurdles that they don't even know they have, that they don't even realize is there, and even get the chance to try. That is always in the back of their mind. Oh, I'm going to mess up. Oh, this is going to go wrong. I'm not going to get it right.
Right, I won't be Michael Jordan.
Exactly. But they forget that we all have messed up. And so what?
That's so true.
Just like there's an artist, I think his song is "ChikaTheGreat Traveler," and it says, "Who never messed up? Raise your hands up." And that just says it all. Right. We all have messed up in one way or the other, but that wasn't the end of our lives. That was just a mess up, a misstep, a mistake. That doesn't define us. So we need to look beyond messing up like it's the end of the world. It's not.
Yeah, that's very well
It is a
said.
process that helps you to grow. Because if you don't mess up, you're going to mess around and think you're Jesus Christ.
Right. Right. And think that nothing you do.
I mean, you're going to, think everything you touch is going to be turned to gold. And when you start thinking like that, somebody lied to you.
Yep.
Or something lied to you. So we need to embrace it. Even in our failures, we need to embrace that and learn something from that, so that we can move forward knowing our boundaries, that we can work within without messing up again.
Right.
That is important.
Right. And that actually leads me to another important one that this is one that I'm a huge fan of, Like we just spoke on, a lot of people don't even try, or, they never try. But with what you just said, a lot of people don't adapt. A lot of people are unable to change. They're unable to learn and realize, okay, I messed up. I failed. But what can I learn from that? What can I take from that? Because I didn't just do that for nothing. What can I use from that experience that I had to help me excel next time?
That is true. You have to look at it this way. For you to be the way you are, where you are, it has taken years to build that habit of doubting yourself. And that habit is not going to change in an instant. You have to make a conscious effort.
All right.
You have to make a conscious effort because you're unlearning certain things. You have to unlearn certain things, certain habits, certain paths that you've taken, and try to correct that. And then when you do that, then you'll be able to move forward and learn from the mistakes you've made and be self-critical. And the first thing you got to do is, even if you lie to everybody else, don't lie to yourself.
That's a very important thing. Dad, you are really just hitting them on the head. That actually leads me to my next one. Self-awareness. A lot of people fail because they lack self-awareness. They lie to themselves.
Exactly. But, it is easier to lie to yourself sometimes in certain situations. So the first thing that a lot of people go to as a defense mechanism is to lie to them. No, it's not my fault.
Right.
I did everything right.
Right.
It was somebody else that ate my food that I put in the refrigerator.
Right.
Or it's somebody else that did something that made the food that I put in the refrigerator go bad. But they never backtrack to say, okay, what did I do? How did I do it?
Right.
What did I not do that could have led to this? Because in life, a lot of times we try to think that we are unique creatures. There's nobody like us on this planet, which in some cases is true. But there's nothing that you're trying to achieve that somebody hasn't done before or hasn't been there before. So there's a wealth of knowledge that is at your disposal. All you have to do is just look for it and search in the right places, talk to the right people. And that takes a lot of courage. Right. So part of succeeding is courage. Courage to be self-critical of yourself. Courage to tell yourself the truth about your shortcomings. Courage to tell yourself, I need to learn this.
Right.
I need to take this class. If I want to be a great speaker, I need to get involved in Toastmasters.
Right.
You need to be able to tell yourself those elemental truths. And when you do that, what you do is that you set yourself and your brain into a position to receive those things because the information is out there.
Right.
And when you do that, the universe aligns to help you get to where you want to get to.
And you actually train your brain to learn how to overcome things. You train your brain to take responsibility for things rather than blaming other people for different things. When you start training that muscle of your brain to realize, okay, even if this was somebody else's fault, how can I internalize this? How can I make it to where I'm at fault? Let me see where I could take some responsibility at. And that makes it to where you're able to actually solve the problem. That makes it to where you're actually able to overcome. And just you having that type of pattern trains your brain to overcome obstacles rather than blame someone for your obstacle. Because if you just blame someone and say, oh, that's why I didn't get it, that's why I couldn't do it, that just leaves all the power in someone else's hands.
Exactly. And what you're doing when you do that, it gives you a temporary out because you're like, oh, it's not my fault.
Temporary out, right.
But it doesn't get you to where you want to get to. Because life is not easy.
Right.
And if somebody says it is, it's, they're not being honest with you. But in spite of that, in spite of the difficulties, you're still able to persevere. You're still able to move forward and accomplish what you want to accomplish. If you persist, you will. You will. It might take a little bit longer. It may take relearning certain things. It may take discarding certain things and certain belief systems that you have. But you can do it. Because the brain, to a certain degree, is impartial. It's whatever you feed it that it knows. And if you feed it garbage, the first default is garbage that you get out.
Right. Right. You are what you consume.
Exactly. So the first default is garbage that you get out. Now, when you realize that, okay, hey, maybe what I'm feeding this computer that's upstairs is the problem, then you can make adjustments.
Exactly.
Then you can take corrective actions that's going to, correct your process of what you're getting out of your brain. And you'll be able to see the fruits of your actions and train your brain, because when you succeed there, the brain records that. It records that and says, hey, even though I might feel this way, he did it 2 days ago and it worked out this way.
Right.
So if I did it 2 days ago, I could do it again.
Exactly. If I did it 2 days ago and achieved this result of success, I could do it again. And then once it happens again, you just reaffirmed it again, and now your brain is just growing that muscle and working,
That is it. And success, to a certain degree, is just duplicating what works and fine-tuning it and moving forward. Once your brain is trained that this is going to be a success or has been a success, it will do everything in its power to get to that same point so that you repeat that success.
Right.
And keep repeating it till you get to the point where it becomes automatic. So you don't even really have to, you could do it on autopilot.
Right.
Kind of setup. You could do it on autopilot because your brain has been trained that way. Just like riding a bike. You ride a bike, and once you learn it, you never forget it.
Right.
And sometimes you can even do it, with your eyes closed sometimes.
It's like second nature at that point.
Exactly, because that's who you've become.
Right. We've touched on a number of different topics so far. We've touched on lacking self-awareness. We've touched on underestimating what it takes to actually get there. We've touched on people not being able to learn and adapt. But there's another one that I feel like a lot of people actually don't even think about.
Which one?
A lot of people don't realize there's one set of people in this world that don't even try, that don't even do it, that don't even take that leap. There's another set of the people that don't realize they can take that leap. And there's many other sets, but the set that I want to point out right now is the all talk, no show. I like to call them finna niggas. They always finna do something. They always got this idea. They always got this incredible plan, this incredible new song or incredible invention, but they don't ever execute on anything that they finna do. They always finna do something. They always bout to do something. They always coming up with some incredible ideas. That's actually some great ideas. Some great ideas, genuinely.
But the thing that is driving them is the fear of failure. They're terrified of failing.
And because they're so terrified, they end up failing.
Which is like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
They're terrified of failing because they've talked about all these big plans they have. And they've watched people that we've talked those big plans with or in their presence accomplish those same plans. But they are terrified because they feel like if I don't do it, I'm going to expose myself as a finna nigger or whatever, however you put it.
Yeah.
And so they're terrified of actually doing it. And
Just because they might possibly fail.
exactly. So what they do, what they tell them, their pep talk is like, okay, I know I'm good. I know I get these great ideas.
Right.
And, if I do it, I'm going to be the next Bill Gates. And the ideas really may be good. The ideas may be good, but they are just terrified of actually taking a step towards doing those things.
Right.
Because to them, it's an end-all, be-all situation.
Right.
If I don't make it, I'm just going to expose myself to the whole world as a nobody or as a fraud.
Right.
Or, I'm not who I think I am or I say I am. But they forget that nobody's perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect.
And nobody did it on their first try.
And nobody did it on their first try.
That's so true.
And that goes back to what you were saying about underestimating what it takes to do certain things.
It surely does.
It is easy for anybody to be a spectator in a battlefield and tell you, man, this guy should have thrown the ball to this guy.
Right.
It is so easy. Everybody could be the best quarterback.
Right.
I mean, they have how many people?
Drivers.
Exactly. They have over 50,000 quarterbacks in the stadium, and they see all plays, and they say, oh, man, he should have done that. But if you put that same person in the play, they would freeze. They would choke.
Right.
Because they've never had to deliver. They've never had to be in a position and they don't want to be in a position like that.
Right.
It is comfortable for them to be a spectator and tell you how wrong this is going to be, how wrong that is going to be.
Right. That's
And
low risk.
It is so easy to do that.
Right.
I mean, geez, even a dead fish can go with the flow. So you don't need any effort to do that. But when it comes to the time when you have to put up, most of these people are scared.
Right. All talk and no show. All talk and no show. So another thing that I've noticed, a lot of people in my direct generation, and this is one reason why I truly admire your generation. A lot of people in my generation, they want so much too quickly. They're not willing to, your generation was the generation, they were the people that focused on working somewhere for 30 years, 40 years and retiring. That's when they wanted to take their vacation. That's when they were willing to put forth that energy, that effort, try for so long before they actually got what they deserved. A lot of people in my generation, they feel like it's owed to them. Like, oh, I just did this. Why aren't I rich yet? And I feel as though social media, because you guys didn't have social media so much during your main time, I feel as though that's one thing that really is changing the population right now. Those quick dopamine hits, you could just slide up real quick and then see something that excites you immediately. I feel as though that's training the mind to feel as though, okay, I want to do this. It's a good idea. I tried. Why aren't I successful? Why don't I have it? Why aren't I a millionaire yet?
Well, that is true. The older generation used to hard work, toiling, getting up each day and go to, social media has its positives and its negatives. One thing that is always constant, that is always going to be there, is change. Things are always going to change. It is how you adapt to that change that makes the difference.
Right.
A lot of people are going to say, well, I did all this and, I know my friend did this and, he got 2 million hits.
Right.
I know, somebody else that did the same thing and got, 3 million hits. Why am I only getting 1,000 hits?
Right. So you're saying on one side, they could beat themselves up and feel as though I should be able to get more hits quicker. But on the other side, they should be able to adapt and say, okay, if my friend did that and I'm not getting that many hits, what can I do to change? What can I do to add on to my plan and my execution?
Exactly, because every plan you have has to be tweaked. What would work for me would not work for you, or would not work for your friend next door. He has to be, aware that, okay, maybe the way I speak, maybe the way I explain things is not the same as the way you explain things.
Right.
You know, I see that all the times. A lot of people talk about certain things that they do, and sometimes great ideas, but the way they communicate those ideas sometimes varies.
Right.
And sometimes makes the difference, especially with this new generation. You guys are very particular about somebody acting genuine or however you guys pronounce it.
Tomato.
Exactly. They always, this looks like it's set up, or it's fake, or
Right.
it's not, it's planned.
Right.
And because they have seen a whole lot of different posts, a whole lot of different podcasts or different things, and they just expect to get the same kind of response.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else is doing, things in their own unique way, making adjustments to it,
Yeah.
And we have to be aware of the fact that, work has its benefit. Social media can also be work.
Right.
You just
Right,
have to
very
treat
true.
it as such.
Very true.
You have to treat it as such. And even in that time with social media, it doesn't happen overnight. Just like people go to work and work for 2-3 years before they get a promotion, when you do the social media thing, if you stick to it, look at yourself, look at your performance objectively, criticize your performance, do better, learn from other people. Because, there is nothing you want to do that somebody else hasn't done before.
Right.
So,
Right.
I know we all think we are special, we are, the best thing to since sliced bread, but we ain't that special.
Right.
I hate to break it to you all, you're not that special. So learn from what has been done before and go on and tweak it here and there. That's how Elon Musk got where he got to. He didn't find Tesla. Nikola Tesla did.
Right.
But he took that idea
Right.
and made some adjustments to it. Took the same idea and see how he can apply it to different things. A car battery, a car, self-automation, power, energy, everything. Tesla came up with the idea, did the research. Elon Musk made it into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Regardless of what you think,
Right.
he made it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Now, Musk is not the expert, quote unquote, but is brilliant enough to know that you really don't have to be the expert.
Exactly.
Just learn from the knowledge base that is already existing.
Exactly. And employ other
employ
experts.
Because the thing about there's some experts that don't want to be like Elon Musk. They don't even want to be a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to stick to one niche and be the best in that niche. They don't crave celebrity. They don't crave being known. They don't crave anything. But you have to look for those people. That is part of your success base. You have to look for those type of people. They are okay just being in the background. Why you take all the shine? And why you take take all the accolades and the awards and everything, and they're okay.
Right.
So please don't be scared of going out with your ideas and bringing them to fruition, because that's the biggest drawback, more than anything else, the fear of failure. And we all fail, whether you want to hear it or not. But you could turn that into something that is going to be a learning experience and a life-changing experience, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad I had you on for this episode. This is one of the topics that's very dear to me. I think about this a lot because, I've seen a lot of different people that have had incredible potential, but they just didn't tap into it. And part of why I've actually seen that a lot. It's something that you taught me a long time ago. You didn't actually put a phrase on it like once I actually came across sooner or later, but you taught me the main concept. Proper planning prevents poor performance.
That is true. You know, in a way, success is pretty much where planning meets opportunity. Just like the Boy Scout. You don't say you're going to see a black bear in the woods, or your car is going to break down and you look in your car, there's no lighter fluid.
Right.
They train you so that when those situations happen, you're bound to be successful. When that opportunity comes,
Right.
you're ready. That is why no knowledge is wasted. You might take math and hate math, but at one point in your life, that could be the thing that saves you your job, your house. So success is pretty much just when preparation meets opportunity. You have to be prepared, just like the Boy Scouts say, be prepared. And when you are, when that opportunity shows up, you'll kill it.
Right.
You will kill it,
Right.
and without breaking a sweat too.
Yeah.
And another thing is, sometimes people talk about, oh, I'm lazy. If that's the problem, then condition your brain to say, okay, I know I'm lazy. Be truthful to yourself. I'm lazy. Cool. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. But you could flip that around and say, okay, I'm going to use that laziness as my motivation to get a job or to do something that is never going to make me have to wash dishes for the rest of my life.
Right.
Or
Right.
to get to do something that's going to allow me, I don't have to drive myself for the rest of your life. Of your life. It might take me 3 years, 5 years when I get there. But that fact that I know that I'm lazy and I'm not doing anything about it, or I don't want to do something about it, that should motivate you to flip that
Right.
around and say, okay, I know that part of me, so I'm going to make sure that I'm never going to be able to wash dishes ever again.
Right. Right.
Or I'll make sure that I don't have to clean my room ever again. I'll hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, that's another thing you taught me actually. That's another big thing that you taught me.
Yeah.
And I've always taken that with me throughout my whole life. I've always looked at it like, because I don't like doing certain things, certain chores, I need to make it to where I have enough money to pay someone else to do those chores for me.
Exactly.
Even if I have to, do some things that I don't like right now or for the next 5 years, just so that for the rest of my life, I won't have to do that anymore. And a lot of people lack that discipline.
It is true. And because a lot of times it goes back to the problem of instant gratification, just like what you were saying about social media and your generation. It's not a generational thing, it's just a societal thing. Americans are used to giving everything almost instantly. And if they don't get it instantly, they feel like they messed up. Nah, but you could delay it. Do with that for a minute. Just like you're doing with, about being lazy. You do with that for a minute so that down the road you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Right.
And when you train yourself that way, you find that, you know what? I could accomplish anything that I want to accomplish. I just need to set my priorities, know what is important, and prioritize my way out of it, and work on those things that's going to help me accomplish it. It's easier said than done,
Right.
but it can be done. It can be done.
Right. Right. That was very well said, Dad. So we've spoken on a number of different topics. Just to reiterate, we spoke on the fact that they never tried. We spoke on the fact that they underestimate what it takes. We spoke on laziness, them not being able to adapt. lack of discipline, lack of planning, fear of failure. We spoke on them wanting too much too early, them giving up, them being all talk no show with the finna niggas. We spoke on the excuses. We spoke on them being resistant to advice, and one of the most important ones, their lack of self-awareness. So, my fellow greats, I implore you to reflect on this podcast and ask yourself, am I doing any of these? Be truly self-aware and look at yourself and try to make sure that even if you are doing some of these, you can start to exclude them from your daily routine. Thank you all for joining us. And I want to thank my dad for being a great guest and blessing us all with his firm knowledge. And guys, until next time, also, please, guys, check out our sponsor, Black Eye Nation. A special thanks to them for having us. And thank you guys for coming and checking us out. I look forward to seeing you guys on our next podcast.
God bless. And folks, you are already born great. Just tap into it.